Hello, young readers. Hello, young story makers. Everybody joining in. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Ann Cosma from Team Flip, and you all are right on time. Today is Read Across America Day, and we have a special treat for you. Authors Shannon and Dean Hale and illustrator LeUyen Pham are joining us to talk about their new book, The Princess in Black and the Prince in Pink. This book is all about strong and brave people who are ready for anything that comes their way. Now, let's see the plan for today. Today's agenda includes chatting with Shannon and Dean about the book. We'll be doing some drawings with Win, so make sure to have your pens and pencils and papers ready. And then, of course, we're going to be taking some selfies, so have your cameras ready too. And we'll be answering some of your questions. If you have a question about princesses, monsters, or anything else, make sure to have it ready and drop it in the chat. All right, folks, let's get this started. Let the countdown begin.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, Shannon and Dean. Happy Read Across America Day.
Hi!
Hi, happy Read Across America Day, woohoo!
And hello, tiny people!
We are so excited to have you joining us today. And there are so many students watching all around the world who are so excited to hear more about your books. And I want to jump in right away. For those who may not be familiar with your work, can you start us off by telling us a little bit about the new book, Princess in Black and the Prince in Pink, and what the story's all about?
Yes, so this is book 10 in the Princess in Black series.
Wow.
And
10.
ever since book 1, when we said the Princess in Black, kids said to us everywhere we went, wait a minute, if there's a Princess in Black, does that mean there's a Prince in Pink? And we said, yes, eventually, someday. And the questions keep coming. And finally, book 10, we got around to revealing the Prince in Pink.
And there's, something that's very important to me in all of the books are the villains, the monsters. And there's some very interesting villains in this book. Bird villains.
Bird villains. I heard you say that, Dean. Bird villains. Well, Shannon and Dean, we want to start off with a video question. We have a fan from Minnesota. Margaret is in St. Paul, and she loves the series. So she's going to ask the first question. Let's hear it.
Hi, Shannon and Dean Hale. I have a question about the Princess in Black. What gave you the inspiration for the Princess in Black stories?
This is a great question, Margaret. Shannon and Dean, can you tell us a little bit about the series and what or who inspired it?
Yes, and thank you for that great question.
That was awesome.
I love St. Paul, Minnesota. We have 4 kids, and when one of our kids was 4 years old, her name is Magnolia, if that sounds familiar to any of you. We call her Maggie. And one day she was wearing a little skirt with butterflies on it, and she was pointing to the different colors of the butterflies on the skirt. And she said, Mama, pink is a girl color and purple is a girl color, but not black. And I was like, what? I think that's such a weird thing. Where did she hear that colors belong to certain people and not to other people? I have no idea. But I told her, well, sweetie, anybody can wear any color. And of course, girls can wear black. And she said, Mama, princesses don't wear black. And I thought that was such an amazing observation from this little girl that noticed, I've never seen a princess wear black. I had never noticed that before. But as I began to think about it, I kept hearing in my head, the princess in black, the princess in black. And then when Dean came home from work, I said, the princess in black.
And of course, she's a superhero, right?
Yes, and if she's a superhero, then that means that she needs to have something that she's battling. What should she battle?
I think she should battle monsters. And I think
Monsters!
I should be involved in helping create this story because monsters are my people and I need to represent my people.
Yes. And then we were like, what is she protecting from the monsters? And
Ah,
Dean has a particular animal that he's very fond of, and that is
goats. I really love goats. I love
goats are
saying
something.
goat and I love looking at goats and their eyes are cool.
And so that's how it came to be.
Oh my goodness, that is such a special story. And I love how it was inspired by your own daughter. And then it launched this entire incredible book series. That's so incredible. Okay, so everybody out there who's listening, all of the young aspiring readers and writers and illustrators, all folks listening in, Shannon and Dean, do you have any advice for them?
Yes, sure. I mean, my advice is not so much advice as it's just encouragement to have fun making stuff. Don't worry about what it looks like or what it sounds like or what anybody else's opinion is it. If you're having fun making it, then that's the most important thing. Because when you're having fun doing something, you're going to do it more. And because Dean and I collaborate a lot, I would say collaboration can be really fun. If you get with a friend and the friend wants to draw the book and you want to write the words, or you want to draw it and they want to write it, or you both want to draw, or you both want to write, however you want to do it, create something together.
And I say read a lot, like anything, stuff that you like to read. Just it could be a comic book, it could be a graphic novel, it could be a picture book, it could be a long, thick book with lots of words. Just lots of reading of all different kinds and enjoy it, just like Shannon was saying.
That is brilliant advice. Have fun, create, collaborate, read. Okay, brilliant advice. Thank you. So I want to jump to another question already, and this is coming from Olivia in Pennsylvania. Let's roll the video.
Hi, I'm Olivia from LeUyen Area School District, and I like to write books too, and I'm wondering, how did you come up with the characters for Princess in Black and Princess in Pink?
Oh, great question, Olivia. We see you there with all of your books. That's so wonderful. So, Shannon, Dean, Olivia in Pennsylvania, wondering how you came up with all of the characters' names.
Yeah, so there's a lot of characters in this book because Princess Magnolia has many princess friends, and they're all going to a festival together. And we named all of the princesses, gave them all flower names. That's their secret identities are all flower names. So when we introduce the Prince in Pink, his secret identity is Prince Valerian, and Valerian is a flower too.
And one of the other things that we do when we're thinking of names is we want ones that sound cool, but sound funny. We like one of the flowers that we chose for one of the princess friends is sneezewort. And that's an actual flower, but it also sounds really funny. And one of the names we chose for one of the villains in one of the first books was Wigtower, which is a super fun name. And Frimplepants, names that sound fun. I think, they're always going to be the ones that win.
And the characters are absolutely just creative and brilliant. Their names are so fun. I love that they're inspired by flowers. And one thing I just have to talk about are the illustrations. I love all of the illustrations in this book. And we all know that writing a book needs a lot of imagination and creativity, and it needs the right pictures. So, folks, we are so excited to have with us the third member of this dream team. LeUyen Pham, the illustrator of the book series, is here. Welcome, Win.
Yay! Hi, everyone. Thank you for having. Oh, look at my Princess in Black buddies. Oh, I miss you guys. We never get to hang out much, so it's events like this where we, technically, like, am I touching you, Dean? Dean, rub your head there. There, look at that. Oh, now I get to touch everybody. Virtual kisses. Hi, everyone out there. I see you guys.
Oh my gosh, seeing all of you together as a team is so fun. And we have to ask, how did you all collaborate on this book? We would love to hear about it. Wynn, could you start us off?
You know what? I'm going to tell you that it's always Shannon and Dean that start the ball rolling. And I like to call them sort of the ultimate dance team. So first, Shannon and Dean get into their space somewhere. I'm imagining it like Superman's ice castle is where they probably sit around in their fur coats, and they come up with these insane ideas to make each other laugh. If Dean laughs too hard, the whole place crashes down because he is a monster, and that makes glaciers fall and stuff. And then they come up with this great idea, and then they think, all right, now what's the hardest thing in the world to draw? And they have this big bulletin board, and they've got these darts, and they pin all their ideas of the hardest things in the world to draw, and then they toss it, and then I'm fairly certain Dean has a maniacal laugh, and he says, ho, 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 Wynn gets to draw this next. And then I get it, and that's when I cry. No, that's not true.
I mean, if you didn't knock out of the park every single illustration ever, we might think, oh, we don't want to give Wynn this because that would be too hard to draw. Let's do something easier. But we can't do that because you're amazing at everything. And we
Wynn
know
has
the
no
sky's
limit.
the limit. There's nothing you can't do.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, I like to say we're like a dance partner, but these guys are so good at what they do that I'm just struggling to sort of keep up. Like, if they write something funny, my goal is to draw something just as funny and maybe funnier in some way, but I'm just struggling to keep up. It's like running with the train, man, and these guys run so hard. They go so fast. That's my job.
And you do it well.
So I think that this process and hearing you all talk about it is incredible. Everybody just got an insight into the dynamic and the fun that you bring to this, and throwing darts at a board, but the back and forth of this beautiful dance. It is making magic happen as you all create this together. So when we have to ask, your illustrations are so beautiful and they are so creative and the details are phenomenal. I want to ask what the biggest challenge was that you faced while creating the Princess in Black and the Princess in Pink. Wynn, can you start us off?
In creating the prince, there's not a huge challenge in terms of the main character. I think the Prince in Pink is a character, as Shannon was mentioning earlier, that we've been wanting to do for a while. I'm not even sure you guys told me about the Prince in Pink, but I think I'd always sort of had him in my head, and he was just really fun to do. It's like he came onto the paper. Do you guys know the story of how Aphrodite, Venus, came from is it Venus or is it Athena? Came straight from the head of her Greek father, like fully formed. That's what Prince Valerian was. I knew from the get-go what that guy was going to look like.
In this scenario, you're the Greek god Zeus.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Prince
Wynn
in
is
Pink
Zeus.
is Athena. I love it.
Out of my head. But I would say that the actual challenge for this book, which is the usual challenge for each of the books that Shannon and Dean do, is the bad guy, the monsters. And in this book, we don't have the traditional monsters. What we have is the flightless bird herd. So I've got to draw these really big birds. And I know you guys have been to the zoo. I know you guys know what ostriches look like and what emus look like. They're the birds with those enormous eyes and big fluttery eyelashes. And despite the fact that they're tall and gawky and weird looking, they're really cute with those big eyes. And I had to make them bad guys. So that was probably the biggest challenge, was how do you make an awkward, goofy, long-legged, big-eyed, long-lashed creature look evil? And my answer was chains. Chains and jackets.
And leather jackets.
Yep.
But when we, I just have to pull up a photo right here of, I don't know if I can show it very well on the camera. There we go. See? Look at that. Look at that emu face. Wait a minute.
You're blurred out.
I know.
Yeah.
There we go. There's an emu. You see, You see that the look in their eye? So the reason why we thought of the flightless bird herd is because when one of our kids was little, she was looking at an emu and she said, Mama, I think emus are bird villains. And there's just something about them. They're tall, they've got those big eyes, but they're always kind of looking down at you and looking side to side. And I love the idea of that they are bird villains. And what we established in the book is that they are really good at two things, because ostriches and emus have those really big, strong legs. They're really good at kicking. But is there something else they could do with those legs besides kicking? And there is a ball.
Yeah, in the ball. I'm not saying what it is. I'm not spoiling the story.
Sorry, I'm laughing at you guys because you're so funny. All right, this is part of the club. I have a picture of Shannon and Dean up on the wall, and when I'm drawing, I just think of what they're saying to each other, and I try to draw that.
You do not. Is that true?
That's not true. But I think it is. Yeah.
That'd be so creepy. I just have a huge picture of us just looking down at you like an emu staring at you.
Well, it's because, Shannon, I automatically picture you as the Princess in Black. And then I just always automatically picture Dean as whatever the monster is. But the emu, kids, if you look at that picture, if you remember the picture of the emu that Shannon just put up, and then look at Dean.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
No. Nothing emu-like in that face.
Yeah, that's the challenge right there. So I'm missing my model that I normally get for the books. I had to, resort to my imagination, and woe is me.
And resorting to that imagination, hearing you all talk about the creative process together, overcoming challenges together, creating, when you're separated from each other, I can only imagine how much fun you all have as you are collaborating. It's just so fun to listen to you talk. So as we keep going, can we dig in a little bit about the actual process of writing and illustrating the books? Shannon, maybe you could start us off with this.
Sure. It always starts with me and Dean. We throw a lot of ideas at each other. One thing we never run out of is ideas. So we're always just looking for the ideas that are the most interesting, that make us ask the most questions. And with this particular book, we really wanted to have two really cool, fun environments that we'd never been to before in The Princess in Black. There's a carnival and there's a ball. And then we also wanted to have the little twist of it's not a monster. They're birds. How do we handle that differently? What do superheroes do with birds that are causing trouble? So we ask ourselves questions like that. We go for long walks. We kind of figure out the idea. And then we start outlining the book chapter by chapter. And then we do revisions. We cut out chapters and we add new chapters and cut characters and add characters. That can go on for a while. And then once we have a really good outline, then we start to write. And then once we have a draft, we rewrite it over and over and over again. So by the time Wynn gets it, we may have been working on it for, a year or more.
And I claim all of the good parts. Yeah, but it's not true. It's not true.
Who's to say? Who can say who did what?
That's right. After we go over it so many times, we can't even tell who wrote what anymore. That's why I claim the good ones, even though they're probably worse.
And then usually by the time I get it, it's this fully formed script. And okay, so you guys have to know, I do mostly picture books. And if you ever look at the way a picture book is written and the way The Princess in Black is written, The Princess in Black has chapters and it's much longer and it's 100 pages rather than, 24 pages. So it's a lot more work. But the amazing thing is every time I get a story from Shannon and Dean, I'm super anxious to read it because number one, it's always really, really funny. Like it's so, so funny. I'm just looking forward to making me laugh. And then the second thing is there's always a very clever twist in the story. And that's the part I'm always looking forward to figure out how the illustrations are going to work. There are some authors who like to write little notes to say, please draw this for me. And illustrators don't like doing that. Like if you're in class and your teacher tells you, you should draw it this way, the first thing you want to do is the absolute opposite of whatever your teacher told you to do. So illustrators don't like that. But Shannon and Dean never do that. Not only do they never do that, they're the only authors that I know who will willingly remove some of the words in their stories because they'll say, well, Wynn already did this in the illustrations. We don't need to write it anymore. And that, I think, is so lovely. You guys are just the nicest, most generous writers in the world for that. But in the end, it's just 100 pages of as many different ways that I can make people laugh as possible. I'm actually mostly trying to make them laugh because I know if Shannon and Dean laugh, then I know everybody else will laugh. Like they're the high bar that you're trying to reach here. And my greatest pleasure, and besides turning in the final art when I've painted everything out, is when I send off the sketches and then I get a very long, usually like 5-page email from Shannon and Dean saying, "We love this page! Oh my God, that's so funny!" And then I print it out and I put it up on my wall, and that's what encourages me as I'm painting the paintings for the next 3 months. So that's what collaborating with Shannon and Dean, that's what doing this book is like. It's a lot of painting, a lot of just trying to make people laugh, and mostly just trying to make my friends happy. Like if you are working with people you love, you just want so badly to make them happy. And I'm going to consider all you guys out there my friends. So if you guys love the book, then I'm doing a really good job. We're all doing a really good job.
Yes. Yay.
Well, you all have succeeded. The series and the characters are beloved. I laugh out loud reading the books, and the illustrations are the perfect accompaniment that ties it all together and brings it to life. It's just so remarkable. And thank you for sharing about your process. I have to ask, Shannon and Dean, do you happen to have a favorite part about writing the Princess in Black and the Princess in Pink? Is there anything you can identify as a favorite part, maybe?
I know what my favorite part is. My favorite part is always, especially when we have, I mean, I love the monsters. I love the villains. I love it when we get to see from their point of view, when there's a chapter where the monsters are doing something or thinking something. I love being the monsters when we're writing those.
I have three favorite parts of the process. The first is when Dean and I are, there's always some point where we're trying to figure out a story where we have an aha moment and we're like, oh, and you get excited about a new idea and it's going to bring everything together. The second favorite part is when we get sketches or our email inbox, when Wynn has sketched out all the pictures, and you know how you feel on Christmas morning when you like walk in and there's all the presents. You're like, that's how it is when I see that email in my inbox, and oh my gosh, I get to see, so I get to have Christmas twice a year because every time we get new illustrations from Wynn, it's Christmas. And my third part is meeting kids when we go places that want to talk to us about the story and the characters, and they're not worried about us. We're not the superheroes, she's the superhero, Go to Avengers the superhero, and they're excited to nerd out with us about the books. That's really fun.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Okay, Wynn, we have a video question for you from a fan named Joshua. Let's see it.
Hello, my name is Joshua from Indiana. I'm wondering, what was your favorite character or favorite part to illustrate?
Oh, thank you for this question, Joshua. Wynn, do you have any favorite scenes or characters that you illustrated for the series?
I have favorite everything. My gosh, Joshua, by the way, whatever you were standing behind, that was really cool. I think it was a mosaic in Indiana. Next time I go out there, we're going to have to make sure to see that wall. But yes, my favorite thing, well, in general, my favorite thing to do is to come up with the monsters because they're a lot of fun. But my favorite character of the series is actually Sneezewort. And the reason why it's Sneezewort is Sneezewort came across in the second book. It was the second book, right? The second book. And I think she was meant to be sort of not the villain exactly, but she was meant to sort of be the thing that Princess in Black is sort of hiding from throughout the whole book, because Sneezewort is smart. But Sneezewort is also disappears into the wall. She tends to be not noticed. Her name is very, very silly. And I just remember when I read the character, I know she was probably meant to be a little meaner maybe than she was, but I just saw her as really goofy and silly, and I identified with her because I kept thinking Sneezewort is me. That's who I would be in the Princess in Black canon. And so I designed Sneezewort after what I looked like as a little kid. And I had big glasses and I had sort of straight hair. I disappeared a lot into the scenery. I tried not to stand out very much. And I thought I was a pretty smart kid too. I was always very attentive to things that were going on, and I was always trying to figure out mysteries. So Sneezewort was for me like the perfect fun character. I thought she was going to be a one of though. So when Shannon and Dean continued her in the series, I didn't think we were going to use her too much. So I designed a crazy costume for her because Sneezewort is, of course, the princess in blankets. And I didn't think I'd have to repaint her, but her costume is really hard to do because she's nothing but a bunch of blankets and towels and sheets all torn up and put together. And now Shannon Dean put her in like in every single book, and I've got to redraw this really complicated outfit that she's wearing all the time. But she is my favorite. She's my favorite. She's smart. She's funny. She's always in the background, and she kind of like keeps things going too. I noticed that you guys have done that she helps to solve a lot of the problems, and she actually really is like the smart one. And when I see all three of us up on the screen, that's what I feel like I am the Sneezewort of this group.
You're the smart one.
We're the muscle. You're the brains.
You're the eye candy, and I'm just running the machine in the background.
It really is remarkable to get to hear you all talk about this. And I know something else that would be really special for our audience. When I have to ask a favor, and I know folks are going to love this, do you think that you could teach us how to draw a character from the book?
Ooh, wait, I think I can do better than that. I think I can teach you guys just to come up with your own character. You want to do that?
Oh, that sounds awesome. Everybody, grab your pens, your papers, your brushes. The drawing time is ready to begin.
All right. So one of the things, my job on this whole project is I'm the illustrator, and I get to come up with what everything is supposed to look like. And probably one of the most fun things to do in this book, as I mentioned earlier, is I get to come up with the monster designs. And I figured rather than me teaching you guys how to draw the Princess in Black or the Duffy the Goat Boy, which you guys can look at the book and you're more than willing to do on your own, I'm going to teach you guys how to create a monster. And this is the technique that I actually did for the first few books that I worked on the Princess in Black series, was this technique I'm going to show you now on how to come up with a monster out of nowhere. And the reason I want to teach you guys to make your own rather than me just drawing something and you following is I am a huge believer in that we are all artists deep inside. And somewhere around the age of 9, I think is when it happens, for some reason, you guys stopped drawing around the age of 9. And I don't know why. I think it may be having something to do with writing and, school gets harder and maybe you don't have as much time. But drawing is, for me, such an important way to express yourself. And in a way, it's a language all its own. It's a language that nobody has to teach you. If you're born with an operating hand and you can use a pencil, that's all you need in order to draw. You don't have to learn a different language. It's a language we all speak. So because of that, I'm going to teach you guys how to draw a monster today. If you guys are out there with pen and paper, feel free to sort of come along with my prompts. And the way I designed these first few monsters in the first few books was this. I took my little kids at the time, they were 3 and 5 in the first book, and I gave them a big pad of paper and I said, all right, I just want you guys to draw any shape you want. And they would go up to the piece of paper and they would do something like that. And then I would take that shape and I had to turn that shape into a monster. You guys want to do that with me today? Should we try it? All right, I'm going to need some help. So Shannon and Dean, you guys want to come on?
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
You guys are going to prompt me, okay? This is going to be the start of some monster. I don't know what monster it's going to be. How many eyes do you think this monster should have?
3.
Yeah, 3, I agree.
Dean, you're going to have to pop in front of Shannon because she likes to go fast and furious with this. Okay, 3 big old eyes. Oops. We're going to go like this. 1 big eye here. And then we're going to make 1 big eye here. And we're going to do a tentacle over here with the eye popping out.
Nice.
Like a little antenna eye.
Yeah, like an antenna eye. And then the eyes themselves, I like to make them really wide-eyed. So here's a little trick to make something look a little freaked out is if you draw the eyes with the white of the eyes all surrounding it, for some reason, that looks more freaky, right? I think my face looks a bit more freaky that way.
For some reason.
For some reason. So it's called googly eyes, I think. And if you make the eyes googly like that, the monster looks a little more frantic and freaked out. If you make the monster looking down, they look a little calmer. So we're going to have 1 googly eye and then 1 calmer looking eye. And in fact, I'm even going to give this one an eyelid like this. Like that. And then this one over here is going to be looking all the way up into the sky. Like that. And you may choose whatever eye color you want. But I always like to be challenged a bit, and I like to make some of the monsters look kind of cute by adding some eyelashes. So I had big fat eyelashes. That. So that they look more like Dean. Dean, you have big eyelashes, don't you?
I don't know.
I think Dean's got the eyelashes like that and like that. Okay, so I got my 3 eyes. Shannon, Dean, what else do I have? Should I add ears? What kind of ears should I give this thing?
Pointy ears.
Which ears?
Pointy.
Pointy ears. Okay, pointy ears. We'll give it like this.
Sure, yeah, no, that's good.
Okay. This is the inside of the ear there. This is the part where I'm just kind of having fun. If you guys don't want to do pointy ears, you can also do puppy dog ears. You can do elephant ears, anything you like. There's 2 pointy ears. All right, what else? Should I give it some horns, do you think?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay,
Curly horns.
Curly horns. How many curly horns?
2.
2 curly horns. Okay. Do. I like curly horns like that. We're going to do that one. And then maybe one that's like a twisty curly horn. Curly twisty like this.
Ooh,
How's that?
nice.
Okay. Curly horns. Twisty horns. All right, let's see. Should we give this creature arms of any sort? Legs of any sort? Tentacles of any sort? Suction cups? What do you want?
Needs, oh yeah, no, like tentacled suction cups to move around and manipulate its prey.
How many tentacled suction cups there, Dean?
Ooh, I mean, there needs to be at least as many as there are eyes.
Okay, so 3. At least 3. Okay.
One thing I love about drawing monsters is there's no way to do it wrong. Nobody can tell you that's not what a monster looks like because they're monsters. You can make it any way you want.
Yeah. Actually, that's the general rule of drawing is there is no way to draw something wrong. Some people like to call that taste. Maybe it is taste. But in my opinion, you can't draw anything wrong. The minute a line goes onto a piece of paper, I think that's actually why most of you guys tend to stop drawing around the age of 9 is because teachers at your school start to correct you on paper and you start to get little red marks, red checks on your paper to say, oh, that's wrong. That letter is wrong. You spelled that wrong. That mathematic problem is wrong. You can't do it wrong. No one's going to check my drawing like that and say that's wrong. It's going to be whatever it's going to be. And that to me is why drawing is so great. And I hate the fact that kids don't draw enough these days. Like if you could carve out 10, 15 minutes to draw every single day, you don't have to show anybody. You'll feel so good. Nothing feels better than putting something onto a piece of paper and knowing that it came out of your own head and that it didn't exist before. You made something that has never existed before. It's a really incredible feeling. That's why I became an artist. Okay, that's 3 tentacles, 2 fat and 1 skinny. What else? What do you guys want?
Mouth. We need a mouth.
We need a mouth. Lots of teeth, little teeth. What kind of mouth should we have here?
What do you think? What kind of teeth?
I think no teeth.
No teeth. Okay.
Madness.
Kind of
Okay.
like an octopus?
Yes. Or like a beak.
Like a
Should it have a
beak.
beak?
Mhm.
Octopi, don't they have beaks?
They do.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a beak. Should it have a nose of any sort or no nose?
No nose.
No nose. Okay. Should we have fur, slime, what? Scales? What should we have on this?
Ooh, I'm liking slime.
Slime. Okay. Slime is just more little dots. Spotted, striped. What should we do?
Spots.
Spots. Okay. We'll do big spots. Like this. This is not a bad monster, guys.
It looks like dancing.
It is. It looks like
Yeah.
it, which kind of goes with this next with the book we're doing. Should we give it wings of any sort or no wings?
I love the idea of wings with a tentacled monster. That's something I haven't seen before.
Should it be with feathers or should it be like bat wings?
I don't know. I mean, feathers would look cool, but I feel like bat wings are more natural.
They would do better when they're going in and out of water, that's for sure.
That's true.
But we
would
don't need it practical. It's a monster.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you like to see this thing flying in the air though? Like maybe this
Yeah,
isn't
that's true.
a water-bound creature. Maybe this is just suctioning from the air. Okay,
Yeah.
do that. You guys, you're going to be privy to these two master storytellers coming up with something that they are amazing at, which is coming up with names. You guys have to come up with a name for this
Uh,
Oh,
creature.
all
You
right.
just have to drop.
All right,
What's-
Dean, it's on you.
Gordon Mishmaple, but Gordy to his friends.
Oh, this is a male monster. So I was thinking it's a girl.
Oh,
Gord-
we'll see. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Gordon can be a girl's name, can it?
Sure,
Gordania.
yeah.
Gordania.
There you
Mishma-
go. Ooh, that's
Mish-
a better name. Gordonia is a better name anyway.
Gordonia Mishmopper?
Sure. Yeah.
Gordonia Mish. Oops, I spelled that wrong.
That could be spelled that way.
That's how it's spelled. Yeah.
It's two. There we
Yeah.
go. Mishmopper!
Yay!
So keep in mind the lesson from this. You can put anything on a piece of paper, and it's called art. The avant-garde artist taught us that. And it doesn't matter what you put on. Please, please, please don't draw with erasers. As often as you can, draw with markers or pens. The reason why is because I truly believe that you cannot make a mistake. And the minute you start drawing in pencil, I notice you turn it around and you start erasing it, and then the paper becomes like a bloody mess of just scribbled out lines, and that's no good. Just keep your lines fresh and don't be afraid of putting things onto the piece of paper, and you cannot make mistakes anyway. And we are all artists inside, and we're all born with the language of art inside. We don't have to be taught this. We just have to practice it. There you go. There's your monster.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, that was incredible. The ideas, Shannon and Dean rockin', and when that message too of everybody has the language of art inside. I love that. Here's Gordonia Mishmopper's friend. I made my monster
Nice.
too.
Hold it
Yep.
up. Let's see. Oh,
Nice.
Wow, yours is better than mine.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun. We hope all of you out there enjoyed drawing. And now we have another fun moment for you. It's time to take a quick selfie with Shannon, Dean, and Wynn. Everybody out there, get your cameras ready. Bring your drawings with you. Gather in front of your screens in your classroom, at home, wherever it is you're watching from. We'll give you a few seconds to get set up. And don't forget, grab your drawings. Thank you so much, Shannon, Dean, and Wynn, and parents, teachers, everyone who's watching. We would love to see these photos, these selfies. So please be sure to post them on Twitter by tagging us at Microsoft Flip, and of course, tagging our good friends at Candlewick Class. Now, we are going to roll into a time where I would love to know, I don't want to say goodbye, but I would love to know if any of you have final thoughts that you would like to share. And before we get to those folks, I just want to remind you all, the Princess in Black and the Prince in Pink will be available for you all to purchase in April. So be sure to mark your calendars and pick up a copy. And Shannon, Dean, Wynn, those final thoughts, we'd love to hear them, and whatever you're ready to share with everyone watching. Wynn, let's go ahead and start with you.
My final thought is going to be exactly what I said before. Drawing is such an important thing, and it's something that we can all do and we can all share. It is very much a language that we know from the beginning, and no one needs to teach it to us. So please practice your language, draw a little bit every day. Throw away your erasers. Don't listen to anybody who says you can't draw. Anybody who's got hands and who's got a pencil or paper, even a mouth, whatever you can grab a pencil with, can draw. And we all have an artist inside of us. You just got to find it. That's my message.
Something
I'll
that
say,
Oh, you go.
Go ahead, Dean.
No, you go. You.
One thing with Princess in Black, Princess Magnolia, when she puts on the mask and the boots and the cape, she feels different. And I would say, let yourself put on that thing that makes you feel more confident. It makes you feel excited, makes you feel powerful, and give yourself permission to go out in the world and be your mighty self.
And something that I really like about the Princess in Black, about the actual Princess in Black, is that she doesn't have to be just one thing. She doesn't have to be just a princess or just a monster fighter. She doesn't have to choose. She can be both. And I think that's true of people too. You don't have to be just one thing. If you like 2 different things, if you like 8 different things, you can do those things. You don't have to be stuck in a box. If that makes sense.
Thank you for these encouraging words. It has been so special to get to spend this time with you. And I just want to say thank you for your time and for inspiring all of us today. Thank you, Shannon, Dean, and Wynn.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that was amazing. And you know, the learning and inspiration is never over. So you can head to aka.ms/princessinblack to find topics so your students can reflect on all they learned during today's live event. And don't forget, we have Flip events every week. Next week, we are honored to welcome Dr. Bernice A. King, who will be discussing her mother's legacy. And we will be celebrating International Women's Day by learning all about Mrs. Coretta Scott King. And then on March 16th, we are welcoming Olympic gold medalist Erin Jackson. Head to aka.ms/flip events to find an adventure that sparks your curiosity. And teachers, if you love learning experiences, your class can connect with authors, reading tutors, scientists, and other experts, or even go on virtual field trips throughout the entire year through Take Lessons. Folks, that's it for today. We want to wish you a happy Read Across America Day. I'm your host, Ann Cosma, and on behalf of Flip, Candlewick Press, and our amazing guests, Shannon, Dean, and Wynn, thank you for spending your time with us. We'll see you next time.